We know sport is full of money, and when it comes to exhibition matches, it is the cash involved that gets them off the ground. But that's what makes it even more annoying if the event falls flat. When Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul, 65 million people streamed it on Netflix, but many people complained of buffering and freezing, and the fight itself wasn't that great either. So fans got shortchanged, while Tyson and Paul took home around $60 million between them. Another one with a huge prize pot was Tiger versus Phil in 2018. That had £9 million. But again, the pay-per-view had streaming issues. Miking up the players was an anticlimax too, and the golf itself was bang average. When Ronaldo went to Saudi, we all knew money was the driving force, given his salary of £177 million a year. But then they thought, let's get Messi over for a game. So we had PSG versus the Riyadh All-Stars. Both the GOATs were past their best, but PSG still lined their pockets, charging fans a few pounds to watch it on their official channels. Although it wasn't quite as bad as the 75 quid pay-per-view where Mayweather fought McGregor. I feel like what we really need is constantly high-quality action delivered to you for free. And that, my friends, is called talkSPORT.
Waited 35 years to see this here on Merseyside. He crouches low and rises the trophy above his head. Fireworks and red ticker tape and smoke go off around Anfield, which just erupts once more. It's been a quite incredible season for Liverpool.
Liverpool have lost another game also in isolation. Doesn't tell the story, because of their perfect start to the season with 5 straight wins. They've now lost 4 in a row at Palace, at Chelsea, at home to Manchester United, and now here at Brentford. Just 2 clean sheets over the course of this season so far is a huge concern for Arne.
Yeah, it's a massive concern for Arne, and we're going to try and discuss that now. Thank Footballers Friday. Ade Oladipo, Rory Jennings. Remember, however you watch your telly, you can also watch talkSPORT from Samsung and LG TVs to Fire TV, Chromecast and Apple TV. talkSPORT is live on your screen as well as your speakers. Simple question straight off the bat, Mr. Jennings. Is Arne Slot going to survive?
No.
Okay, yeah.
It's impossible. It's impossible. I think that on some level he deserves the opportunity to put this right. I think that he deserves the opportunity to stay. On some level, I think it would be fair and just to say that if you win a league, you would extend a courtesy to someone who has won a league that you have the full season the following year,
regardless of what happens.
Almost. I mean, this isn't a dream world, but in the most halcyon world, in the most fair world, if you win a league title, you get given the previous, the following season, regardless.
So that's a big credit in the bank, regardless.
Yes, it's such a credit in the bank, but I just don't think that it can happen. Like, Liverpool have lost 9 out of their last 12 games. That's unsustainable. It cannot go on like this. And I just can't believe that we're here, because on some level, I thought Arne Slot last year was a genius. Like, we were comparing him, weren't we, to Bob Paisley? And in the space of 6 months, he's gone from Bob Paisley to Roy Hodgson.
Yeah.
Gone from Bob Paisley to Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, the back end of Brendan Rodgers as well, where it really got bad. Yeah. You know what makes it really bad is the expectations at the start of the season.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I thought you were going to retain the league.
I think people were saying Liverpool go unbeaten.
Yeah,
it's like you're going to go over 100 points. Liverpool could go on and win the Champions League and the league. All those conversations were real.
But it's a prediction that makes sense. Okay, it hasn't been painted in a positive colour off the back of it, and hindsight has shown us that it's a ludicrous thing to say. But at the time, Liverpool won the league last year. They won the league off the back of basically having no transfer window. They won the league at a canter, 10 points clear, and they were never really in a title race.
Playing football from February.
Yeah, and they were never really in a title race. And then, off the back of winning a league 10 points clear, they went and had one of the most outstanding transfer windows that has ever been seen in terms of what we thought it was going to be. Okay, it all now looks disastrous. But at the time, I just thought that, yeah, of course they're going to retain a league. Like, Liverpool haven't retained a league title since the early 80s.
I want to, and forgive me, I just want to stick to football for this next point, yeah? Because obviously people are bringing in things from the summer, and I want to almost not do that for this conversation. Just from a footballing standpoint, you watch Liverpool as much as I do, right? That's our job, to watch nearly every game from the big teams. What do you think's gone wrong? From a footballing standpoint, when you look at Liverpool and think, okay, if he fixes this, potentially this could, garner results. What has gone wrong at Liverpool?
Okay, I mean, it's the what did Churchill say about Russia? An enigma wrapped in a conundrum, wrapped in a mystery, or whatever. Like, that is what this is. Trying to work out exactly what's gone on here. I don't know. Boiling it down really simply, I think the fullbacks haven't played well this season. He can't find the solution to fullback. He's having to play midfielders in defence. It's no good. I think if you were to say one thing that would suddenly elevate all of the problems at Liverpool, you go, just the fullbacks. Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving has left a bigger dent in the squad than I perhaps anticipated.
Agreed.
Milos Kerkez looks totally out of his depth. That is causing the entire team a major problem. But the people that should be stopping it, and this is now a very interesting point, the easiest thing to do is talk about Slot. Slot needs to be sacked. And on some level, it's true. Slot probably does need to be sacked, and he's, on some level, will be sacked. But can I ask a question? If we're going to put Virgil van Dijk in the conversation as the best Premier League centre-half of all time, and loads of people do it. I know you're a big fan of his, Ade. I've listened to Jamie Carragher wax lyrical and say that he's a better player than anyone that has played the game previously in his position in the Premier League era. Jamie Carragher always said it was John Terry. He now says Virgil van Dijk is better. If you believe that it's Jaap Stam, if you believe that it's Tony Adams, if you believe that it's Sol Campbell, regardless, if we're going to put Virgil van Dijk's name in this pantheon of great players, what is he doing to stop this?
No, I think that's unfair.
No, it's not. It's completely fair. When you are an icon, when you're supposed to be one of the best players.
When you're comparing him to those, and you're right to compare him to those because he's in that bracket. But when you're comparing him to John Terry, Rio, Sol, the names you just mentioned, one thing they had around them, better than anything, was consistency. It was the same right back, it was the same left back, it was the same centre back pairing, it was the same goalkeeper. Virgil van Dijk has literally had 5 right backs, 2 left backs, a centre back who simply doesn't play football anymore, and Mamadashvili when Alisson's injured.
No, but
it's been the mix mash of everything. He can't do everything.
No, but you need
consistent around you.
You're just finding.
No, you need consistency around you.
No, you need to take
he's got a right back that should be playing centre midfield. He then has a centre back in Kanatu who goes off, and then all of a sudden Gravenberch is the centre back pairing. It's a nightmare to deal with.
This has happened at every club. It hasn't always been smooth sailing. No Arsenal centre half that I referred to there that was an icon wanting to play with Pascal Segan. Do you think John Terry was desperate to play with Tal Ben Haim?
Come on, he played with Tal Ben Haim for half a season.
No, but that isn't how it is. At various points, Chelsea didn't have a recognised left back. We played William Gallas out there. Teams have always had to roll with the punches. And all I'm saying is, if you want to put Virgil van Dijk in the conversation of greatness, he himself, and I would extend this, by the way, to Mohamed Salah.
By the way, I think Virgil's been way off where he should be.
No, it's not way off where he should be. He's been abysmal.
No, he's not been abysmal.
Virgil van Dijk hasn't been abysmal.
Next to him has been abysmal.
Virgil van Dijk is supposed to be almost the personality, the public face of that team, the best in the world, apparently, the best to have ever done it in the Premier League. He's been pitiful.
This is what's grinding your gears. Because people say potentially he could be better than John Terry.
Listen. I don't think Virgil van Dijk is anywhere near Terry. I don't think he's anywhere near I don't think he's anywhere near Rio Ferdinand. I don't think Van Dijk is anywhere near Tony Adams. I don't think he's anywhere near Sol Campbell. And I never have, and I never will. But if those who believe that
you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
No,
I'm right.
I've
never actually been more right about it.
You're very clearly wrong.
No, I'm very clearly right. And do you know how I know? Because this wouldn't have happened on Tony Adams' watch. This wouldn't have happened on John Terry's watch. This actually wouldn't have happened on Jamie Carragher's watch.
Sorry, one second. This has never happened on John Terry's watch.
9 out of 12
not
game
9 out of
defeats.
12, but Chelsea have not been 12th or 13th in the league after winning the title under John Terry's watch.
We have never ever been 9 out of 12 games.
No, I'm not saying the games, I'm saying the position. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think. Where are you in the league? No, it has never ever been this bad. And I would say that the reason why I think this is what needs to be discussed is primarily because of all the people that talk about Virgil van Dijk like he is the second coming of Franco Baresi. And he isn't. He just isn't. And
I think, and look, it's difficult for me to argue for him, but I think he needs help.
Well, if you're an icon,
I think he desperately.
What about
needs
Salah
assistance.
then? Salah.
It's been horrendous.
Salah is supposed to be, on some level, people would say a Premier League icon.
I'd rather all this energy that you just focused on Virgil van Dijk, I'd rather you give it to Salah. I think Salah's been horrendous.
We can have the same conversation about Salah. If Salah is supposed to be the Premier League icon, he is a Premier League icon. He is a Premier League Hall of Famer.
You can't just remove him because of the start of the season. He is that.
But what is so unacceptable is these performances. And when you have these icons on the pitch, people are talking about Mohamed Salah making it into an all-time Liverpool 11.
What upsets me about Salah and Van Dijk is they're the most experienced. So they're the ones, like, if you're in the dressing room, you look at those as, all right, we need you guys to do something. So if you are the new signings who've been critiqued a lot, they're probably looking at Salah and Van Dijk thinking, set the example.
Well, also, those players at every club, they set the standard.
Yeah.
Like the reason that Chelsea won the European Cup in 2012 was basically because Czech, Terry, Lampard, Drogba, Cole said that we would.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't allow us to not.
Yeah.
That's what should be happening here. Liverpool shouldn't be losing at home to Nottingham Forest because basically Virgil van Dijk says we're not going to lose today.
Okay, then. All right, this is an awkward question because ultimately you just don't know. Have the players down tools? Because can so many players that were world-class 7 months ago be so... And by the way, when these players go away for their country, by the way, they're world-class again. So are they down tools for Arne Slot?
I don't know if I would refer to the terminology...
What other terminology is there? Are these players still playing for the manager?
I won't say that they've down tools.
Are they giving their all for the manager?
They're giving their all, but I don't think they're buying into the manager's process anymore. I feel like it's unsustainable now. And whether Arne Slot is sacked this week, Christmas or February, he will ultimately not see the season out. I don't see how he can recover from this. I can't believe it's got this bad. Like it is. This is as bad as anything we saw at Hodgson.
It's not just defeats as well. Like when Man City were on this wobble last season, they were only losing a lot of games by a single goal. 2-1, it was 3-2. They were struggling, 1-0. Liverpool getting smacked up at home by Nottingham Forest 3-0.
This is what I'm saying.
PSV, in Champions League terms, Liverpool, that was a guaranteed 3 points. Home or away.
Well, this is why it's so significant, because when you think about what Liverpool is supposed to be, particularly at Anfield, particularly in Europe, under the lights, at Anfield, I've been there. Yeah. I've seen Dirk Kuyt score. It's one of the worst days of my life. I felt it. I felt the atmosphere. I can remember the cop bouncing to their version of Our Carefree where they sing about our history. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And it didn't matter who was in the Liverpool team, they would always perform. To fail that badly, I keep coming back to Hodgson, but it's like that. And it didn't matter who the Liverpool back line was. It's never been as bad as this. Rigobert Song, Phil Babb, Mark Wright, it's never been as bad as it looks now. Yeah. And it's getting to the stage now where you would predict that West Ham United and Sunderland, the two next fixtures...
No, one thing I will predict, and I'll probably be right, and whether Liverpool can come back from or not, is they will score first, the opposing team. Every team scores.
You therefore won't have the minerals to bounce back from that.
No,
you won't. And do you know what else I thought was quite significant? Off the back of that game the other night in Europe, like Liverpool as a support, we're talking like really broadly here. Liverpool as a support, they're not booers. Like Chelsea are booers.
No, Liverpool don't do that. The fan base gets upset with other fans.
But there was a boo. Like it was drowned out with a.
It was a little bit, but there was.
It was drowned out by a "We love you, Liverpool, we do." But there was a boo, and. Once the cop has gone, I always say that once a manager loses the away support or the home end, it's basically you're counting down the hours until the manager is gone.
Yeah, he's never really... when Klopp had this wobble as well, it was not this big a wobble, but Klopp had a wobble. But Klopp always had the love of the Liverpool fans, just because of the way he is on the touchline more than anything. Slot hasn't got that, because he's a different character. He hasn't got that, so he will never have the fans back, and I guess he's got the backing because he won the league, but there doesn't seem to be that connection between Slot and the fans as there was Klopp when he first came in.
So much credit in the bank, but the credit in the bank is doing all the heavy lifting at the moment. Like nothing that he's doing this year is keeping him in the job.
And what also really hinders him is that, yes, you won the league, but then you spent 500 million. You spent 500 million.
Not one signing is working.
None.
And the manager's job will almost always revolve around making sure that the new signing settle, the big money signing settle. On some level, it's a modern day football problem. But modern day football, the manager's responsibility is to get the big marquee signings playing well.
Yeah.
Like the reason it went so wrong for Frank Lampard at Chelsea was basically because he couldn't get a tune out of somebody as useless as Timo Werner. It's not his fault, but he couldn't get a tune out of Timo Werner, so he loses his job.
Yeah, and if you're the owner, and I think the owners were there on the weekend, and they're like, well, we've given you all this money, and we're seeing Isak on the bench, and Ekatike's now gone off injured. Kirkes hasn't landed.
Kirkes don't
Where's
know what day
Florian?
No, it's gone so wrong. It's
gone really bad.
Yeah. Also, it's like, where do you draw the line? So if Liverpool do lose, to West Ham, surely that's the end. I mean,
you know why it will be the end, and I'm convinced it will be the end. Just from a a numbers perspective, these owners only care about numbers right now, right? If Liverpool don't qualify for the Champions League and what that does to the accounting figures at the end of the season, like, Liverpool have to qualify for the Champions League.
But also, Liverpool will qualify for the Champions League if they just make a move soon. Like, basically any other manager.
Okay, who comes in then?
I mean, Gerrard feels like the fairy tale, doesn't it?
No.
Steven Gerrard for the fairy... Yeah, I think it does, Ad.
I don't think
Gerrard.
You know what it is?
Gerrard
Those
on
fairy
the
tales,
touchline at
those
Anfield.
fairy tales don't really work, though.
Mate, aren't you an old romantic?
Do they
at
work?
heart? Aren't you an old romantic?
United tried that with Giggs. You've done that with Lampard. Do those
Lampard
fairy
was
tales
great.
work?
Genuinely,
Until he got
Lampard was
sacked.
great. I think Steven Gerrard, he's like, in terms of presence, in terms of being an inspiring force to these players, these are great players. Like, whatever you think of Alexander Isak's form, there is no doubt that he's an excellent player, world-class player. I don't think Wirtz has shown anything in the Premier League, but he's created a few chances.
There's no way he's not a world-class player.
No way he's not.
Yeah.
So they just need to be inspired. And look, you can have a situation where you get rid of a manager. Chelsea did it with.
There's only one man for the job, Rory.
Chelsea did it with Villas-Boas.
There's only one man
brought
for the
Di
job,
Matteo
Rory.
in, and the tide rose.
There's only one man for the job.
Tell me,
Come on.
you're going to say go back to Jurgen Klopp?
Come back home, Jurgen.
You think?
Now, if you say...
I don't think you should go back. You should never go back. Never go back with an ex-girlfriend.
If you're
Never,
saying
ever
that
go back.
Gerrard gives you the rise and gives everyone excited, imagine what Klopp does.
Oh, come on. Gerrard's
Imagine
more
what
inspiring.
Klopp... Are you having a laugh?
Gerrard, are you having
Are you having a laugh?
Gerrard or Klopp?
If you think you'll poll Liverpool fans and say, do you want Gerrard or Klopp?
Well, I think
It'll be like 0% Gerrard.
If you're an old romantic at heart like me, you go Gerrard.
All right, Liverpool fans, we want to hear from you. What's going on at the club? It's that simple, really. And is Arne Slot in danger of losing his job if the side lose to West Ham? And by the way, the results away from home and the results to London sides have been horrendous. 03717 22 3344. Come and have your say.
Step up to the Oki and win on talkSPORT.
Good evening, thank footballers. Friday. Yeah, we're closing in on the talkSPORT Darts Presenter Trophy 2025. Now, it's in its third year where 8 of talkSPORT's biggest names go head-to-head ahead of the PDC World Darts Championship kickoff. And this year, you and a mate could be right there with us.
That's right. You'll be the only members of the public allowed in on Wednesday the 10th of December in London. 2 seats, 2 insider passes, a true money can't buy experience for the ultimate talkSPORT fan. The very next day, you'll also be heading to the opening day of the PDC World Darts Championship. Plus, we'll sort 2 nights hotel and a massive $2,500 in cash. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338.
Yeah, text costs £2 plus your standard network rate, or you can call us 0343 423 9761. Lines close 4 p.m. next Thursday. That's when you're going to need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For your chance to win, simply text WIN to 83338 now. That's 83338. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. All right, let's continue the Liverpool chat. talkSPORT understands that Arne retains the backing of the club's hierarchy despite their dismal run of results, and the Liverpool boss says it's business as usual on Merseyside.
Yeah, we've had the same conversations as we've had since I'm here. And as I'm not sure if I said last night, but we fight on and we try to improve. That's what we all try. But the conversations have been the same as they've been for the past 1.5 years.
I was going to say he looks stressed. I mean, why wouldn't you? He looks really...
Not.
Yeah, he looks...
I mean, in fairness...
He's growing a beard.
In fairness,
where's the beard come from?
He sort of looks stressed when things are going well, doesn't he? He's got that kind of look.
He does. Jamie Carragher, by the way, said that Slot has a week to save his job. Obviously, Liverpool go to West Ham on Sunday, followed by hosting Sunderland, who've been pretty good this season, on Wednesday. That game against Sunderland exclusively live on talkSPORT 2. How far from the truth, quickly, is Jamie Carragher? A week to save his job.
Look, I think Carragher's spot on. I think Carragher is spot on. The only thing I would say is, even if this week goes well...
Yeah, could still lose his job.
Yeah.
Still lose his job.
Sometimes I don't think that it's right to back a manager. Like, when Amorim looked like he was going to be sacked, then they win a couple of games. Then they lose to Everton. Like, you could still sack a manager just because they won a couple of games. It doesn't mean...
Yeah, it's almost like what Tottenham did with Ange. Yeah. You won a trophy, we still got to get rid of you because we remember the season.
Ruben Amorim is so out of his depth at Manchester United. Even if they win the odd game, it doesn't change that.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Phone lines are open, 03717 223344. We're going to stick to the calls as well until after 8 o'clock, so feel free to still get in touch. Let's go to Ali, the Liverpool fan. Ali, look, we've been talking about Slot. Firstly, do you think he survives Slot?
No.
Oh, no. And that was straight to the point as well. All right, then, if no Slot, who comes in then?
I'll tell you what, just before I get there, right, why I say no is, you heard the interview. Does he sound like he's convinced? If that was Klopp, he loses his plot and he literally, goes at it. Slot doesn't sound like that. He doesn't sound like he's got solutions. So if he goes, Klopp comes in, assistant manager, Gerrard, just like Guardiola's done with Arteta. You see how it goes.
Yeah,
He'll learn a lot more.
Liverpool certainly wouldn't lose their first couple of games with that combination. But look, that's almost fairy tale stuff, isn't it? How realistic do you think that is? Klopp clearly said he's had enough of management. I know he's had a year and a half off now. We don't know what Gerrard is doing. It's like he was going to go to the Rangers job, didn't do that. How realistic is it to get those two, or even one of those guys?
Look, the thing is, if Slot lost the next 2 games, trust me, Liverpool will do all they can to get Klopp back. And he said if he comes back into management, it would be Liverpool, wouldn't it? He wouldn't go to manage any other English clubs.
Ali, can I ask you a question?
Go on.
What's in it for Gerrard to be an assistant manager to Klopp? Gerrard is a manager in his own right. Gerrard is a man with ambitions beyond being an assistant.
To him, you're right. No disrespect to him, but I think you look what he done at Aston Villa. And then Unai Emery comes in and, he was complaining about the signings. So I think there's a couple of bit more things that he can learn.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll see it that way, though, Addy. I don't think that Steven Gerrard is ready to sit on a bed. Like, Steven Gerrard isn't somebody's number 2.
So wait, you
the manager in his own right. He's won a league title in a major league.
You're telling me if Steven Gerrard got the phone call from Jurgen Klopp and said, I'm going back, I want you as my assistant, Gerrard's going to be like, nah.
I honestly do.
Don't
I
be
think he's
silly.
I think he's incredibly ambitious in his own right.
Yeah, no chance. Ali, appreciate the call. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to Nick, Liverpool fan as well. Nick, what's your thoughts on just what's going on, Nick?
Sorry, say again, sorry.
What's your thoughts on just what's going on?
Well, first of all, going back to Gerrard, I don't think any true Liverpool fan would want Gerrard as a manager, to be honest with you. He was a great player, but he's done nothing in management. He's got no credentials. I just don't think the fans would want him back, but that's a different argument for a different time. I think you have to look back at last season, what happened. After the end of February, all right, we may have had the league sewn up, but we got worse and worse as the season went on. Do you know, if the season had been from the end of February to the end of April, we would have finished 12th in the league. That shows you how bad we were for the last 2 months of the season. It's only because we'd had the points in the bag that we won the league. If we hadn't have had those points, we would never have won it. So, but it's gone from there and it's carried on this season. And I personally think that Slot has not got a clue. And I think he took over Klopp's squad, Klopp's team. Those players wanted to win that title last season for Klopp. I don't think they wanted to win it for Slot. And I think now, it's got to the point where the players aren't really playing for him. Salah should not be in the side. I would never sign Salah again for this season.
Yes, you would have. Yes, you would have.
What, this time last year when he was on for a Ballon d'Or, you said you saw it coming, did you?
Last 2 months of the season, he was terrible. He contributed nothing. He gave the ball away more than he did anything else.
Every team in world football would have taken Salah. There's no way you let a player like that go, regardless of the fact of the back end of last season for a couple of months he stopped scoring. Come on.
It's a matter of opinion. I would let him go. I don't think he contributed anything last season. But coming on to this season, he's done nothing. He's done nothing in the first 12 games of the season. He should not be in that team. He should be on the bench, maybe as come back as a play just to change the game at the end. But you look at it this way. He's being picked at the moment on reputation and past performances. He's not being picked on present form at the moment, and that's wrong. And you could say the same about Van Dijk as well. Van Dijk's been terrible this season. Not as bad as Canate, who's got to be one of the worst defenders I've ever had at Liverpool.
Nick, can I quickly ask you a question about something that you said earlier? You said that Steven Gerrard has done nothing in management, and therefore you wouldn't want him. Firstly, I'd contest that, but let's just pretend that you're correct here. Let's just say that he's done nothing in management. Why does that matter anyway? How much had Arteta won before he got the Arsenal job? How much had Pep Guardiola won before he got the Barcelona job?
How well has Vincent Kompany do at Burnley before he got the Bayern Munich job?
Well,
nothing.
You've got those arguments. You got those arguments. But when you've got top world-class players, how many of those players are going to want to play for Steven Gerrard when he's achieved nothing in management?
How many players are going to play for Steven Gerrard?
Play for Gerrard?
He's the most decorated level. He's literally be the most inspiring person that you could put on a touchline.
He may be, but it's like saying how many Man United players would want to play for Roy Keane. He was a great
all of them. No, literally all of them.
So.
Who'd want to play for Roy Keane? Literally all of them.
All right, Nick, appreciate the call. Thank you very much. I wish we continued, Nick, actually. But look, phone lines, we are going to still take the calls on this Liverpool thing because there are millions of calls after the break. Oxford against Ipswich is about to get underway over on talkSPORT 2. But up next, as I said, we are still taking your calls from Liverpool fans, 03717 2233 before we might squeeze in a couple of Chelsea and Arsenal calls as well.
Monaco, Singapore, Las Vegas. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all F1 street circuits. 20 years ago, the sports only visited 3 a year. From 2026, there'll be 10, despite the actual racing often being worse. So why? Why are there so many street circuits? Cars racing past the Casino Monte Carlo is one of the iconic images in all of sport. But in the last few years, it's been joined in the Street Circuit Club by the dazzling Grand Prix on the Las Vegas Strip, in Miami, Azerbaijan and others. And there's no sign of the trend slowing down. The streets of Madrid have also gotten involved, and there are conversations about Grand Prix in the capitals of Thailand and Rwanda. But fitting them in means we said goodbye to classic circuits like Hockenheim and Imola, angering fans who are still packing out the European tracks like Spa, the Hungaroring and Monza. And these generally produce more wheel-to-wheel action than street circuits too. At Silverstone in 2025, there were a total of 26 on-track overtakes. At Monaco, 4. I'm an F1 enthusiast. Even I struggle with that. But it appears to be a good step. In 2025, there was a record 2.3 million strong viewership for the Monaco Grand Prix in the US alone. Meanwhile, for the British Grand Prix several weeks later, 1.5 million tuned in. So why are we seeing this drive towards street circuits? Well, no prizes for guessing. Money. Formula One demands a fee of between $20 and $60 million for the rights to even hold an event. In total, including sponsorships, it's believed officials in Saudi Arabia pay almost $100 million for their race. The huge fees are possible because of the street track's city centre locations, as people staying at hotels at inflated prices and tourist sites brimming with visitors mean the cities rake the cash back in when the race comes to town. So it makes financial sense for Formula One and the cities, but will it cost the sport in the long run if F1 races are too boring? After all, nothing beats the roar of an F1 car as it flies through the forests of Europe, or mechanics watching a storm coming across the humid Asian countryside. Take that away and, well, you may as well just watch American IndyCar.
Good evening, thanks Bob. It's Friday. Ade Oladipo alongside Mr. Rory Jennings. Just gone 8 o'clock. We are talking Liverpool and the phone lines are heating up. I'll tell you that now. You still can get in touch. 03717 223344. Liverpool travel to London, the Olympic Stadium to take on West Ham. Surely, if Arne Slot doesn't get all 3 points, he's in big trouble. All right, let's hear from former Liverpool winger Jermaine Pennant, who believes it's the manager that is at fault and not the players.
There comes a point where you've got to think, okay, it's not the players. We've got to look at the manager. Sean Dyche came in to Nottingham Forest with the exact same players as Ange Postecoglou. Not made new signings. A new manager came in, played a system that suits Nottingham Forest. They beat Liverpool. They drew to Manchester United. They've been on a winning streak. They won tonight. So managers' tactics and style changes everything.
So I just can't. I always find it difficult sometimes to argue against players that have been there and done it, but I just can't agree with that at all. Like, players have to take fault for some of these results. Like, some players are clearly playing way below their level. And when you look at the Liverpool side, I think we've always said that there's maybe 2 or 3 world-class players. And the 2 world-class players Liverpool have, undoubtedly, Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, and they are way below their form right now. Konate, who was, alongside Van Dijk, one of the best centre-backs in the league last season, is way beyond his form right now. McAllister, who was in the team of the season alongside Gravenberch, way below their form. That's not all Slot's problem. Surely the players have to take some sort of responsibility for that as well, no?
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't agree with much of what Jermaine Pennant said there. I see it in a slightly different way. I think insulating players from criticism isn't really beneficial to anyone.
Yeah.
and I can understand there is certainly an element of truth in terms of what Jermaine said. There is an element of truth, and the manager is culpable. The manager is ultimately culpable. But when I look at what's going on at Liverpool, it's all very well to kind of blame tactics, and there's a place for that. It's all very well to maybe blame team selection, and again, there's a place for that. But Arne Slot cannot be responsible for Konate not knowing how to control the football. Arne Slot cannot be held accountable for Virgil van Dijk being caught out of position. He cannot be held accountable for the countless unforced errors that his team are making.
You know, Curtis Jones, who, again, the scouser in the team, right?
Jones I like. I know what you're going to say.
Jones,
because I disagree with.
No, what? You disagree with Jones?
I disagree with you for bringing him up.
No, the reason I bring him up is because he made that moment at the end of the game when he's speaking to, I think, CBS, whatever he's speaking to, and he spoke like passionately about players have to run and players, and I'm like, dude, what about you on the goal? Track him back. Like, you just stop running. So it's so easy after the game to say players have to run and have to fight and have to do it. I'm like, don't say it, do it. Like, you've actually got the ability to do it. Yeah, not asking you to.
Said something
similar. Yeah, you've got the ability.
Carragher?
I think he did say something.
Carragher basically said the one thing that nobody else can stop you doing on a pitch is running. If you want to kick someone, because he spoke about kicking people, didn't he? He spoke about like leaving and tackling.
Do it then.
Yeah, Carragher.
Don't do it after.
I actually think that Curtis Jones is one of the very few players that I would criticise in that side. I think he should be playing central midfield. I think they need somebody who is a scout or somebody who gets it, somebody who the way he talks about.
You know, he's a fan on the pitch. So that's basically what you mean.
He's an excellent footballer as well, but I feel like he seems to know what the standards are. Like, I remember.
Well, no, show us the standards then.
But I've seen him demonstrate them before. I remember when Liverpool were in like a really heated clash at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
Right in front of the Liverpool fans, right in front of the away end at Goodison. He's got someone round the throat.
Yeah.
Like, he gets it, doesn't he? Like, Curtis Jones is the kind of player that they should almost be like relying on now. Stick him in central midfield. Put anyone else fullback. Don't put Curtis Jones fullback.
He must look at the former players like McAllister, even to an extent Gravenberch, and think, okay, when do I get an opportunity? Because their form stinks right now, and I'm still not getting minutes. All right, let's quickly go to the phone lines. Kevin, a Liverpool fan, has got in touch. Kevin, come on, the floor's yours. What's your thoughts on what's going on at Liverpool right now?
Hi, gents. Ade, I completely agree with what you were saying before. I think 99% of Liverpool fans would want Klopp back instead of Gerrard. I think Slot's time is up. And I'll hark back as far as when we went to Paris in the Champions League last year. And I know PSG were phenomenal. I know they won it. I think it was 29 shots to 1. I don't know how we got out of Paris without being black and blue. I really don't. And we finished the season poorly. We started the season terribly. And for me, I think the season's a write-off. I think top 4 now is all we can play for. I think an interim measure is the way to go. I think getting someone in, I don't think Gerrard's got the experience. And I think if you make a permanent appointment and you spend more money in January, I think it's a massive, massive gamble. I think we've spent enough. I think the squad's good enough. I'd be on my hands and knees to Klopp and saying, please, please get us through the season. Get the World Cup out the way. Nagelsmann might be free. You know, I know Ancelotti was once a Blue, but he's some manager. Could you get a World Cup manager? Could you get, Emery out of Villa? Could you get Areola, Glasner, someone Prem proven? I think you've just got to get through this season now without it turning into a disaster. I think rushing into a permanent appointment is really, really risky.
Yeah, agreed. That's a great call, Kevin. Appreciate you. Thank you very, very much. All right, let's quickly go to Paul as well. Paul, it's been a disaster. Very quickly on what Kevin said in terms of going into that transfer window again and not doing it and sticking with what we got. Surely Liverpool have got to get Mark Gahey in January.
Well, yeah, they have to, but we should have got in before we got Isak, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go back to one of your earlier callers, Nick, when he was saying about Van Dijk, and you guys have said the same thing about Van Dijk not playing well this season. Personally speaking, Van Dijk is having to cover for 3 positions. He's having to cover for Kirkes, he's having to cover for Konate, plus he's got to do his own job. I mean, in the PSV game during the week, we saw Van Dijk getting booked for a sliding tackle. I've never seen Van Dijk slide tackle anyone in 7 years of him being at the club. And he's having a slide tackle because he's frustrated. He's out on the touchline covering for a player who's 20 yards further in front of him. He's the only, in my opinion, the only defender at the minute that's actually playing well, but he's being made to look bad because of what's around him at the moment.
Do you think those players, i.e. Kirkes and Konate, and to an extent when he plays right back, Szoboszlai, are being asked to do things they can't do by Slot? Like, these are not bad players. Kirkes was fantastic last season for Bournemouth. Konate was good last season.
He was brilliant at Bournemouth because The way the team was set up, it was set up for Kirkes to maraud down that left-hand side. At the minute, we're not set up for that. We haven't got the players in form to cover for him when he goes. It always used to be when we had Fabinho and we had Henderson, they would cover the fullbacks when the fullbacks shot forward. They'd cover the gap. But at the minute, Gravenberch isn't doing that for whatever reason.
Paul,
and
very quickly,
nobody to cover that gap.
100 calls waiting. Slot in or out?
At the minute, I'm going to say slot in up until he loses to West Ham on Sunday, and then he's out.
Everyone expects it, don't they? Great call, Paul. Appreciate it. Let's go to Danny, Liverpool fan as well. Danny, what's gone wrong? And are you slot in or out?
At the moment, I'm slot in. Only because FSG is not a company to just chop and change. Again, I'll echo what Kev said. If he loses against West Ham, and then we've got Sunderland, then got Leeds, then yeah, it's a potential maybe get him out, get Klopp in as interim, and what one of the other callers said, Gerrard maybe as assistant or first team coach, something along those lines like Pep did with Arteta. Because even though Gerrard, I feel, is a good persona as a manager, he only won one Scottish title, which is mad to say. I think he should have done more up in Rangers. When he hit the Premier League with Aston Villa, I think it was a bit too
started well though, didn't he? I remember he started well.
He started brilliant, bringing Coutinho back into it. Like, people do want to play for Gerrard because of his household name. He's a massive, massive guy for Liverpool, but I just don't think he's that person yet. Maybe in a few years' time, get a few experience under his belt. It didn't go well for him in Saudi. Didn't really go well for him after the start at Aston Villa. Get a bit more experience, and then possibly in the future come as a Liverpool manager. But I also want to go back to what Kev was saying about Van Dijk. Was it Kev? Yeah, about Van Dijk. I think he is right. He's covering Kirkes, who was brilliant for Bournemouth last season. He's covering Konate, who just can't seem to kick a ball. He reminds me of Mamadou Sakho that we had 10 years ago. It's like Bambi on ice. Every time he plays, he makes a mistake, which leads to a goal.
It's in his head now as well, isn't it? You can tell it's in Konate's head now. Yeah,
100%. Like, he's going on a free. He definitely is either Madrid or PSG, so he's got that in his head. Which takes me back to last season when Slot took Quansah off against Ipswich, first game of the season, after 45 minutes. Like, if you're not giving a young player that chance, why are you giving it Konate, who consistently makes a mistake?
I think Slot's scared to make the big ones, the big decisions. I think it was easy to take Jarell Quansah off because ultimately Quansah's not going to say anything back to him in the dressing room.
Yeah.
He's not taking Salah off when he should have. It's almost a bit bully-esque. He's not taking Salah off. He won't take Konate off. He won't make the big ones.
No, and he's probably scared to do it because it is his biggest job in football. It's his biggest job. And I believe that Liverpool will get better when AFCON comes around, because we're still playing and looking for that right wing, which is Salah. When I know Verts hasn't hit the ground running in the Premier League, but he does play well when it's in the European games, when it's a little bit less physical. Ekitike hit the ground running. Sometimes the ball just ricochets off him now and again. He will find his feet. Isak, I don't know what's going on. A striker who's played in the Premier League, has scored 50-plus goals. He needs to bed in. Like,
you know what's going on very quickly with Isak? You know what's going on? And I've watched Isak a lot at Newcastle. He gets so much service from the wings at Newcastle. He's getting nothing from Gakpo, who cuts in, and Salah, who doesn't pass. He's making the runs, and he's getting nothing.
As good as they are, and how class Mo Salah is, and how good Gakpo's been this season, the predictable wingers. Yeah. Like, they're hard to stop when they're in form, like Ian Robben was, and Eden Hazard. You knew what they were doing, but stopping them's a different thing. Whereas if we had out-and-out wingers crossing the ball in like Alanga does for Newcastle, Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, Jacob Murphy, who was unbelievable for him last season, Isak's going to score. Same with like Kirkes with Bournemouth. I believe, this is my personal opinion, Iraola would be the next person as a permanent manager. He's worked under Richard Hughes. He's worked with Kirkes. Put himself in what was a struggling Bournemouth side after Gary O'Neill left. I feel Gary O'Neill was unfairly done there because I thought he was brilliant. And he's built a really solid side. And they're still playing really well after losing 4 of the back 5. They lost the goalkeeper, they lost the 2 centre-backs, they lost the left winger, and they still got a consistently solid Bournemouth team going. And I know we've been linked with Semenyo, I know Tottenham have, and City have, and everyone else has. But if we get Semenyo in, if we do somehow convince him to come to Liverpool, for me, he will be personally the next Sadio Mane for Liverpool. He will be that good. He'll start the press. He's not as selfish as Salah. He's not as selfish as other players. He will play that pass into Isaac or Ekitike where Salah will try and get them goals because he's used to being the main man. It's coming to the point now, I think Carragher said it, leave football before football leaves you. Now, don't get me wrong, his numbers are unbelievable. You cannot fault that. But there's a reason why ex-Premier League players, when they are asked who would they rather have in the team when it comes to a winger, they always go to someone like Thierry Henry instead of Mo Salah, because Thierry Henry had the ability consistently, and Salah's numbers, it's just his numbers that are up there. It's ridiculous. But I feel like when it comes to Van Dijk and Rory, I think it is the Chelsea fan, was saying that Van Dijk's getting a lot of criticism. He's the only person that's coming out and speaking about it and saying we need to do better, we need to do this. He's being that seniority in that side, and whereas other players like Salah's not. Salah was really vocal last season when it came to wanting a new contract or his position in the club and this, that, the other. But yet he's not said a word of how bad he's actually playing.
I think he knows how bad he's playing. Salah will be back, trust me, after AFCON. Danny, appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Well, Liverpool fans are really enjoying it, or not enjoying it this evening. I remember this Sunday we have exclusive commentary of Crystal Palace against Manchester United at midday. Then following that match at 2 p.m, Sam Matterface, Perry Groves, Dean Ashton and Alex Crook will be keeping you updated from all of Sunday's games, including the big one, West Ham versus Liverpool and Chelsea against Arsenal on Game Day Live. But up next, we're going to take a look at tomorrow night's exclusive commentary as Spurs host Fulham at 8 p.m.
football at full pelt, live on talkSPORT. Here comes yet another cross with Charlison! Does meet it, does head it beyond the goalkeeper, hits the D, plays it square, Wilson! Fulham have scored 2 in a minute!
And you can never call anything in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah, this is a tough game to predict, isn't it? Tottenham versus Fulham. Tottenham.
I'm not sure it is.
No, it is.
I'm not sure it is.
No, it is. What, you're so confident that Fulham all of a sudden are going to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and do Tottenham.
You know, sometimes when a team is so bad and the manager is so out of his depth that it doesn't matter who the opposition are. A little bit like with Liverpool. Doesn't matter who Liverpool play. You say the opposition are likely to win. I feel the same about Tottenham. Doesn't matter who the opposition are. The opposition are likely to win.
By the way, over on talkSPORT 2, a bit of a shock this one. Oxford have taken the lead against Ipswich. Mark Harris with the goal in the 24th minute. Remember, you can listen to that game right now over on talkSPORT 2. Ipswich are having a bit of a they've had a wobble since the start of the season. But what's gone wrong for Thomas Frank, do you think? Because everyone was very excited. You were very excited. We all were, weren't we?
Yeah.
We all were. And all of a sudden, it just the players have either just again maybe not bought into what he was trying to do. He's made a couple of interesting moves, I think, tactically, but it just hasn't seemed to have worked for them at the moment.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
And this kind of challenges with everything that we've discussed on the show so far. Okay. You know, when people are talking about maybe Steven Gerrard going into Liverpool, and a reason that people think that Liverpool shouldn't appoint Gerrard is because the experience isn't correct.
Yeah.
So the alternative view of that is applying the logic that Tottenham employed, which is appoint a manager who has lots of experience, has proven himself at a small club, and then gets an opportunity at a big club. Yeah. In theory, that is a better track record than throwing someone in the deep end like Gerrard at Liverpool, according to this theory. Is it possible that you're just not a good manager of big clubs, or you're just not a good manager of small clubs?
It's a good shout, that is.
Like, you aren't. It's almost a different thing. Like, I always thought this about, you know, when Wayne Rooney was at Plymouth. Wayne Rooney is one of the most gifted footballers this country has ever produced. He is a true icon of the game, the greatest Premier League player of all time, in my opinion. What on earth does he know about avoiding relegation at Plymouth? Give him the job, and I'm saying this hypothetically, give him the Man United job, where he knows what the standards of the club are supposed to be. He knows how to win league titles. He knows how to launch a serious and sustained bid to win a league title and a European Cup. Okay. That's what Wayne Rooney knows.
The issue is, does that apply as a manager? Because you're bringing all those points to what he did as a player. Does that apply as a manager? But I agree, because I was watching Bayern Munich, Arsenal Bayern Munich, and I was looking at Vincent Kompany, and I guess the same thing applies to him.
So Vincent Kompany spent basically his entire career trying to win league titles.
Yeah.
He then goes into a relegation fight, doesn't really know what he's doing.
No idea.
He then gets the opportunity to be at a club that could win a league title, and he wins it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think, like, some managers are good small club managers, but they aren't capable of doing it at a big club. Graham Potter was a good example of this. Graham Potter was a very good small club manager. He can do it at insignificant clubs like Brighton. What he can't do is do it at big clubs like Chelsea and West Ham.
Same thing applied. Look, we've gone off a tangent here. We are going to get back to Tottenham.
No, this is about Tottenham, though, because it's about Frank.
You're right, because the same thing applied to Thierry Henry. Remember Thierry Henry, he got a lot of stick for, was it New York Red Bulls or whatever, that he managed in the MLS or somewhere, I can't remember. And he was critiqued because he was trying to tell the players to do things that they clearly couldn't do. Yeah. And you're almost thinking, well, that wouldn't apply if it was top quality players, because they would be able to do it.
Yeah.
But they weren't, and he was frustrated. Like, how can you not do what it was Montreal, thank you. And he got, people laughed at him on the touchline because he was trying to tell these players do it, and they couldn't do it. But you can imagine if he was managing Barcelona, for example, they clearly are going to be able to do it.
Well, exactly that. And then you look at the managers that are doing well in the Premier League. So Mikel Arteta didn't earn his stripes at Bournemouth. Mikel Arteta was plucked off the Manchester City bench where he was trying to win league titles, and given the reins of a big club like Arsenal, who have an infrastructure that suggests, and a history that suggests, they should be winning league titles. Why on earth are you expected to... why on earth is Wayne Rooney expected to know what he's doing at Plymouth? He wouldn't know any of the players. He has no experience of playing football at that low level compared to...
How does that relate then to Andoni Iraola, as an example, before we do talk? Like, someone like that, does someone like that kind of... Is he an outlier? Because surely he can go on to manage top clubs.
I think he can, but we don't know for a fact that he can. But there are some clubs, some managers that we have seen. I don't know. David Moyes is a very good, and I don't want to use the term small club, because Everton are most certainly not that. They're a very big club. They're a very significant club. But they don't have the pressures that a club like Manchester United have.
Yeah.
David Moyes was swallowed whole by the Man United job. He was out of his depth. Some of the press conferences now were laughable. Remember when he said something along the lines of, the opposition passed better, defended better, scored more. You know, it was like you aren't a Manchester United manager, but you are a very good West Ham manager. You are a very good Everton.
Right, how does this apply to Thomas Frank?
Well, is there a world where Thomas Frank is a very good Brentford manager, but just isn't the man for a big job?
Yeah.
It's not that he's not a good manager. It's just that he isn't a good manager of a club who have ambitions of winning the well, I mean, it's a bit extreme, I suppose, but they have, I mean, as a club, I suppose they have ambitions of winning silverware, don't they?
Ambitions, but...
They've won 3 trophies since 1991, but in theory...
ambitions of dating Cindy Crawford when I was young. I mean, everyone's got ambitions.
Showing your age there. When you go to good-looking girl with Cindy Crawford, you're really belying your age.
Google her. She was the best supermodel in the 90s. All right, let's hear it from Thomas Frank. Remember, Spurs, the second worst home record in the division, but Thomas Frank was asked how he remains calm under pressure.
I think, of course, trust my experience, trust my staff, trust my players, trust the club, the leadership. I think that's key. Trust the processes, the structure. I do. That just keep doing that, keep believing that, keep working. The power of one. So always one more conversation, one more video clip, one more meeting, one more training. Constantly try to improve bits. Know where you want to go, and then try to improve those bits and culture, style of play, everything, every single day. I think that's the key.
I like Thomas Frank, so I want to make sure that I say that before I say what I'm going to say. That almost sounds like a manager that, I don't want to say he's out of his depth, but if I heard that as a Brentford manager, I'd be like, okay, cool. Tottenham won a trophy last season.
I know.
They're expecting to kick on, They spent a bit of money in the summer as well.
Big, ambitious club. They're a massive support base. Tottenham should be ruthless with their managerial decisions. If you are a Tottenham fan, listen to Thomas Frank praise the opposition and talk about you like you're like a plucky lower league team in the FA Cup third round.
And that's the point I'm trying to make, isn't it? Like, how does he flip that switch in his mind? He was at Brentford for 9 years. Where, let's be honest, those years in the Premier League, it was almost success to survive.
Yeah.
Every time we survived, that was a success. And Tottenham fans aren't thinking that. They're thinking Champions League football.
Yes.
They're thinking, and now that they've won a trophy, how do we win another one?
Of course they are. And the way that he speaks about other football teams just doesn't chime with being a manager of a top club. And this is what drives fans mad. I don't think it's a good fit. And I'm happy to admit...
You did think it was a good fit at the start, though, yeah?
Because what I thought would happen, though, is I thought you give Thomas Frank the reins of a big club and he will become a big game man. He will become a manager of a big club.
Is it the Arsenal result that's done this for you? Because I almost feel like the way you're almost saying he's basically not good enough for Spurs, and I wonder if it's the way in which they dealt with the Arsenal.
There's 2 examples.
Go on, Arsenal and what?
Their 2 biggest games of the season.
PSG?
No, Chelsea.
Okay.
They played us at home. It only finished 1-0. So when you look at it, it doesn't feel quite as painful. But if you ask any Tottenham fan that was at White Hart Lane that day, they will tell you that they didn't turn up against Chelsea. The Arsenal game, they obviously didn't turn up because the game finished 4-1. So those 2 games, I think that they are reflective. You can look at a manager. You can see the way that a manager is managing a club. How do they perform against their biggest rivals? Like, I guarantee you, whatever the result on Sunday when Chelsea play Arsenal will know they've been in a fight. They didn't get out of second gear to beat Tottenham.
Yeah, fair. Very quickly on Marco Silva, we haven't really spoken about him, and look, they're not having a good season. They were struggling. They've now won a couple of games out of their last 3. Marco Silva's contract runs out at the end of the season. I don't know how big Marco Silva's stock is. I felt like it was big last season. I feel like it's dropped a little bit now. Like, when you think of a job, like if I was to tell you what job Marco Silva would get, I'd probably say Fulham. Like, in terms of the job, what job is he going to get? What job would Marco Silva get bigger than that?
Marco Silva is an excellent manager. He's not quite the next cab off the rank of the likes of in the queue between him, Oliver Glasner.
Yeah, he's way below Glasner and Iraola.
Yes, but they had no investment in the summer.
Yeah,
they had no investment. True. I think that Marco Silva will be in line for a move. When a big job comes up, Marco Silva's name will be mentioned. And also, the easiest thing to do...
Give me a club very quickly. Give me a club.
I mean, he's better than Ruben Amorim, isn't he? I'm not saying he's going to be the next Manchester United manager, but I'm saying compare him to managers that are in big jobs. He's obviously better. He's obviously a better manager than
I said give me a big club. All right, Tottenham versus Fulham, 8 o'clock. What a weird kickoff time. 8 p.m. on a Saturday evening. But anyway, it is a London derby. It's going to be presented by Faye Carruthers alongside Sam Matterface and former England captain Stuart Pearce. After the game, Majestic and Jermaine Pennant will be taking your calls on the game and all of Saturday's action. That's 10 p.m. All right, up next, we're going to be looking at our exclusive commentary of Crystal Palace against Manchester United, which is live on Sunday at 12.
This is the main event.
Mailasar, and he makes it 3.
Palace are a good side, and they play their system as well as anybody I've seen.
Šeško trying to get the ball out under his feet, gets the shot away. It's a superb solo goal.
You have to look at Manchester United and the DNA of the football club. They're not comfortable in this formation. It's literally your job, Ruben Amorim, to get the best out of this group of players.
This is the Premier League. This is talkSPORT, and it's about to heat up again.
Yeah, it's already heated up, and it's certainly heated up for Ruben Amorim, who, look, they've had a weird wobble. They were on a run of winning 3 games in a row. Part of that win, obviously, is when they came to Anfield. Good victory. They haven't now won in their last 3, United. Whereas Crystal Palace, who's played exactly the same formation, by the way, which is why this game's so interesting. Remember, it is a lunchtime kickoff on Sunday. That 3-4-2-1 formation. Are flying 5th in the league. 3 points behind you lot in second place, you lot being Chelsea. Everyone's excited about Oliver Glasner, and you can see why. Remember, this is a manager that lost his best player in the summer, in Eze, was able just to keep Guehi, which I think is going to be key for them in January. If they keep Guehi, then you never know where they can finish. But I just don't see how United go to Selhurst Park and get anything from this game.
Don't you think it's just a great example of appointing a serious manager and becoming a serious football club, just as Crystal Palace have done, and appointing a manager who's completely and utterly out of his depth and therefore becoming a bit of a laughing stock in the way that Manchester United have done? Like, I find it so weird. You know when they went 5 games unbeaten, everybody went so heavy with that. Everybody was saying, oh, he's finally found his feet, and Manchester United are back, and Ruben Amorim is a brilliant manager, and people were really being full of praise regarding Manchester United. You're like, hang on a minute, it's taken the geezer a year to win back-to-back games.
That's crazy.
It's taken him one entire year to win back-to-back games.
Yeah.
And suddenly they put a tiny run together, 5 games unbeaten, including beating a Liverpool side that seemed all over the place. And all of a sudden people are saying that they're back or whatever. Ruben Amorim is a dreadful manager. Ruben Amorim is out of his depth at Manchester United. Now, Manchester United could go 5 games unbeaten again. The next 5 games unbeaten. And before the 6th game starts, they should sack Ruben Amorim.
Because he's not good enough.
He's not good enough. How many ways does the man have to tell us and demonstrate to us that he isn't fit for purpose in the Premier League? How many ways? I can't understand how people are so forgiving to him. This whole dogmatic approach, the way that he approaches football. I play my system regardless. Like, who on earth do you think you are?
It's managers like Glasner and, to an extent, Andoni Iraola that I think really shine a light on just how bad Ruben Amorim has been for Manchester United. These are managers that don't have the same purse strings. These are managers who lose their best players. I mean, look what Andoni Iraola lost in the summer, by the way. I mean, his whole back line was gutted. Look what Glasner loses every single transfer window. And look at what they've still been able to do. And this sort of formation as well that everyone says Ruben Amorim needs to kind of get away from. And this is, again, the same formation that Glasner plays at Crystal Palace, but it seems to work for him. This is Glasner, actually. This is quite interesting. This is Glasner almost defending Ruben Amorim for sticking to this 3-4-2-1 formation.
Funny that sometimes it's talking about the 3-4-3 system. I think Man United and we have the highest XG in the Premier League for scoring goals. We're playing the same system, so it looks like it's a good attacking system. And also, like we show it can be a very, you can have a very good defensive structure in it. So it's all about what you do with the system and how fluid you are in your attack and how creative you are. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. They are doing well. I think we are doing well. And also yesterday's defeat, we won't lose our mind. It's just now, again, finding the right tweaks where we can adjust. No time for training. Great.
I find that quite embarrassing. So basically, the Crystal Palace manager is there telling us how that 3-4-3 could work for Manchester United. Basically, it works for us. And we're fluid in attack and we can defend. Basically, I don't know why it's not working for them.
Yeah.
And also, as well, no one's putting this out. Crystal Palace played midweek. United had a rest.
Yeah.
United should be fresh and firing.
I mean, how do you see this game going?
Palace.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah, Palace.
I do as well. I think it's so... Look, Glasner talking about the system there and saying how it can work and why it should work is very interesting. But what Glasner does, he is pragmatic. Where necessary, he will amend it. Whereas Ruben Amorim won't. I can't believe that he is so rigid and so steadfast on his system. Like, he has done nothing for Manchester United, Amorim. You know, Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest Manchester United manager of the Premier League era, arguably the greatest Manchester United manager ever, certainly the greatest manager in the Premier League era in this country. Even he, who wanted to play 4-4-2, really, you know, when they had a tough game, maybe away from home in Europe, they're going to the Ataturk in Istanbul. You know, they wouldn't play 4-4-2, they would play 4-5-1. So Sir Alex Ferguson, a man who won, 13 league titles, he was ready to amend his system. He was ready to be pragmatic. He was ready to be slightly malleable with his system. But Ruben Amorim won't. Like, who on earth is this bloke? And why are people so slow in terms of criticising?
You know what's crazy about it? When they were playing against Everton, who had 10 men for what felt like a month, still didn't change it to try and capitalise on the fact that Everton had 10 men. You're thinking, okay, this is your chance now to kind of just change that formation just to get back into the game somehow.
If there's ever a moment, you know, if you should never do this, right? But you know, if you just want to use one moment as almost a representation of a manager, if you want to use one moment as a microcosm of who that manager is, look at what happened in that Everton game. They're playing Everton at Old Trafford. After few minutes, Seamus Coleman goes off. So that's bad news for Everton, right? Bad news for David Moyes.
Yeah.
A few more minutes, Everton players have a row.
Yeah.
And another Everton player now is off for a different reason. They're down to 10 men. So again, that's more good news for Manchester United, right? There's only ever one winner. How is that possible? How is it possible for the home team, when the home team is Manchester United, for Everton to have almost their statesman taken off in Coleman? They then go down to 10 men, and they have had a ruck.
Yeah.
And suddenly, it's one team on the attack, and it's Everton.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's sackable.
Honestly, crazy. Very quickly, going back to Crystal Palace, and we'll talk more about this in the next section, just the English clubs in Europe. Struggling in Europe, though, Palace. Not quite. And look, ultimately, even the fact that they're 18th in that Conference League, they'll still probably be able to get out of it and they'll be okay. But I wonder why they're struggling. I just don't know if they've got the squad to balance both.
I think squad depth, it's going to be difficult. It's always very arduous when you're trying to marry up a domestic campaign with a European campaign. Like when you're new to Europe, it really is.
They think how bad West Ham were in the league, but then won the Conference League.
Yeah, they got 40 points that year.
Yeah.
They got 40 points.
Yeah.
So no, it is difficult. And when you're new to it as well, you know, Manchester City, Chelsea, we've been doing it for so long that we've kind of got familiar with it. But when you're new to it, you're never more likely to drop points domestically than when you've played in Europe.
So this is Man United's best chance then, I guess, going to Selhurst Park
Manchester United should be going to Selhurst Park and winning the game. Of course they should.
Yeah.
But they won't.
They probably won't. All right, remember, lunchtime kickoff, that one, Crystal Palace versus Manchester United, live on talkSPORT. It's a talkSPORT exclusive. Adrian Durham, the GOAT, alongside Joe Shannon and former Watford captain Troy Deeney. All right, it's now everyone's favourite feature next. Too Good, Too Bad.
Step up to the Oki and win on talkSPORT.
Good evening, Thank Football. It's Friday. Ade Oladipo Rory Jennings coming up to 9 o'clock. We are closing in on the talkSPORT Darts Presenter Trophy 2025. Now it's in its third year where 8 of talkSPORT's biggest names go head-to-head ahead of the PDC World Darts Championship kickoff. And this year, you and a mate could be right there with us.
That's right. You'll be the only members of the public allowed in on Wednesday, the 10th of December in London. 2 seats, 2 insider passes, a true money-can't-buy experience for the ultimate talkSPORT fan. The very next day, you'll also be heading to the opening day at the PDC World Darts Championship. Plus, we'll sort 2 nights at a hotel and a massive $2.5 grand in cash. For your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338.
Yeah, text costs £2 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 0343 423 9761. Lines do close 4 p.m. next Thursday. That's when you need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus UK excluding Northern Ireland. So for your chance to win, just text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 83338 right now. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. All right, it's now time for this.
Too good? Todd Bowley has become our sporting director. The man's never worked in European football before. So the fact that he's now in charge of this recruitment drive fills me a little bit with fear.
Too bad.
Going out and signing with Charlison is huge, isn't it? He will certainly score goals for them.
Yeah, it's too good, too bad. With me and Rory Jennings taking it in turns to pick out one player we're looking forward to see play this weekend and one who desperately needs a performance. All right, Rory, let's start on the lighter side of things. Who are you looking forward to seeing play this weekend?
I'm looking forward to seeing Esteval. I hope he plays.
Yeah.
I hope he plays. He probably won't. You know, the manager has done a very good job of protecting him.
Very good job?
Yeah, he's done a good job of protecting him. He doesn't overplay him. But
doesn't even let him do a step over. He goes mad at him. It's in the I've seen it. On the touchline, every time he does a trick, he goes loony.
But, Addy, off the back of what Esteval did to Barcelona, sometimes I just think you've just got to trust the kid. You've just got to throw him in the deep end.
Yeah.
And
sometimes I think we got these players here, you know. Like everyone's excited about some of those Barcelona youngsters. I think we've got them over here. But it's almost like in Barcelona, they play with the handbrake up. Sorry, the handbrake down. Over here, they play with the handbrake up.
Addy, do you know what? I was ridiculed massively for saying pretty much that. You know all the talk about Lamine Yamal and whatever else. I know he's a very good player, of course. But I was arguing that Bukayo Saka was better than all of the Real Madrid wingers, better than anyone.
100%.
And everyone went crazy at me. Because effectively I've said that Saka is better than Yamal, Saka is better than Vinicius, better than Mbappe, whatever. Everyone went crazy, but I stand by it.
I know what you mean.
I do agree. And Esteval is a superstar, and I cannot wait to see him play. What about you? Who are you looking forward to seeing?
I'm not really looking forward to seeing him. I'm praying to God that he can just get us over the line, and that's Dominic Szoboszlai. Like, it's got to that stage now where I'm like, he's almost become our star man. And if he doesn't play well, we don't win. If he plays well, we don't win.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, you can't do that. That's my line. I was literally about to say exactly that.
If he plays well, we don't. But no, look, he's been the shining light in what's been a disaster of a season. And I just wonder, look, I think we forget, he's a young kid, but he's captain of his country. And there's a bit of pride there with him. He's got really, really good player. And I just hope to God that he's played in midfield, not as a right back, and can do some damage. Because, look, West Ham ain't great. And Szoboszlai should run the show. So hopefully, if he's played in his right position and Conor Bradley's back, and there is a lot of talk about Conor Bradley being back, then Szoboszlai could get us the much-needed 3 points.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, who needs a performance?
Do you know who I think needs a performance? It's Cole Palmer, primarily because I feel like people have kind of forgotten just how brilliant he is. People are talking about, I mean, I've heard it suggested on this station by the great Adrian Durham that Cole Palmer won't go to the World Cup with England.
Crazy, that, isn't it?
I disagree. But the problem is, if he's not playing
he needs
football,
to get a move on.
Yeah, if he's not fit and he's not playing football, it's going to be problematic. Of course it is. So I think that also, you know, when we discuss players, when we discuss who should be playing for England, I think people have forgotten just how brilliant he is. He is a maverick, a true great. And I just think that Cole Palmer, if he is fit and comes straight back into the team, you know, thrown in the deep end against Arsenal and scores or has a good game, suddenly people will remember and go, oh yeah. This is the guy.
Is he too much of a maverick for Thomas Tuchel?
Arguably. But the reason I feel like some mavericks, they just have to be in a team. Like, regardless of how regimented your team was, you find a place for Cole Palmer, in my opinion.
Yeah. He's not as a maverick, if you like, as Jack Grealish, and he offers a lot more.
What about you? Who do you think needs a performance this weekend?
Arne Slot. Arne Slot needs everything. Honestly, look, I know, I think he's a dead man walking anyway. But it's a results business, and if he can pick up a couple of results, and he's been given two kind of easy games. I mean, West Ham away and Sunderland at Anfield. I mean, it should be 6 points. It should be 6 points. But then again, I thought Forest at home was a banker. So look, he's in desperate need of something, and it isn't now just even 3 points. We need to see, he needs to somehow get a performance out of his star men, and that's up to him. That's him. That's his backroom staff. He needs to be brave. We need to. There's a lot of talk about Salah being dropped, but who plays? So Salah's got to play, because I'm not having this talk of Chiesa starting over Salah. I'm just not. But he needs to get a tune out of his players. So all the pressure is on Arne Slot, and he needs to kind of ask himself some serious questions. Do you want to be the manager of Liverpool Football Club? And if so, do something about it.
You're absolutely right, because he never gets a job like this again.
Never.
He never ever manages a club as big as Liverpool ever again.
It will go back to Eredivisie, and look, he might get an Ajax or Feyenoord. He'll get one of those, but he'll never get a club like Liverpool.
No, I agree.
Not this size.
I agree.
Because they'll look at the collapse and think he didn't know how to stop the leak.
No,
now it's a flood.
He can't solve problems, basically. He's a fair weather manager.
Yeah, there you go. All right, the second half of Oxford against Ipswich is about to get underway. Remember, Oxford winning or leading that game 1-0. It's over on talkSPORT 2. But up next, we're looking at the rest of the weekend's footy.
Monaco, Singapore, Las Vegas. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all F1 street circuits. 20 years ago, the sports only visited 3 a year. From 2026, there'll be 10, despite the actual racing often being worse. So why? Why are there so many street circuits? Cars racing past the Casino Monte Carlo is one of the iconic images in all of sport. But in the last few years, it's been joined in the Street Circuit Club by the dazzling Grand Prix on the Las Vegas Strip, in Miami, Azerbaijan and others. And there's no sign of the trend slowing down. The streets of Madrid have also gotten involved, and there are conversations about Grand Prix in the capitals of Thailand and Rwanda. But fitting them in means we said goodbye to classic circuits like Hockenheim and Imola, angering fans who are still packing out the European tracks like Spa, the Hungaroring and Monza. And these generally produce more wheel-to-wheel action than street circuits too. At Silverstone in 2025, there were a total of 26 on-track overtakes. At Monaco, 4. I'm an F1 enthusiast. Even I struggle with that. But it appears to be a good step. In 2025, there was a record 2.3 million strong viewership for the Monaco Grand Prix in the US alone. Meanwhile, for the British Grand Prix several weeks later, 1.5 million tuned in. So why are we seeing this drive towards street circuits? Well, no prizes for guessing. Money. Formula One demands a fee of between $20 and $60 million for the rights to even hold an event. In total, including sponsorships, it's believed officials in Saudi Arabia pay almost $100 million for their race. The huge fees are possible because of the street track's city centre locations, as people staying at hotels at inflated prices and tourist sites brimming with visitors mean the cities rake the cash back in when the race comes to town. So it makes financial sense for Formula One and the cities, but will it cost the sport in the long run if F1 races are too boring? After all, nothing beats the roar of an F1 car as it flies through the forests of Europe, or mechanics watching a storm coming across the humid Asian countryside. Take that away and, well, you may as well just watch American IndyCar.
Be a little bit bigger than what you just said. Three doesn't.
Defense isn't as stable. Midfield isn't as strong.
No, they are. There is something slightly more vulnerable about Man City. But I think anybody that has lived this version of City, anybody that has witnessed winning 4 leagues in a row, treble, the Centurion season, accruing over 2 seasons, 198 points.
Crazy.
They were one Riyad Mahrez penalty away from hitting 100 points 2 consecutive seasons.
Incredible, isn't it?
198 points over 2 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, and those seasons, they had threats everywhere. Like Bernardo Silva, threat. Foden, threat. Kevin De Bruyne, threat. Gundogan, when he was there, threat. Mahrez, as you mentioned. Sterling, flying down the wing. When I ask you now about Man City's threats, you say who?
I'd just say Erling Haaland.
That's it.
I mean, you might give honourable mentions out here.
Might give, say, to Foden.
Foden gets an honourable mention. Cherky gets an honourable mention.
Doesn't even get a mention for me, Cherky.
Oh, I mean, Foden doesn't really get one from me, to be totally frank.
And that's the problem. All right, the latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast is available as presenters Flex and Max Scott are joined by the Athletics Man City correspondent Sam Lee to discuss whether Pep Guardiola is ruining his legacy and whether City are still title contenders.
Tiger Woods played 90 majors and he won 15. We don't talk about the 75 he didn't win. Like it's the mad thing is to win 15. Like Michael Jordan played 15 seasons, won 6 rings, but 6 rings is a lot.
But people try and say, what was he doing in the other other seasons where he didn't win, but to win 6 is crazy.
Like I wasn't digging out Klopp. I'm not digging out Ferguson. There was lots of Champions Leagues Ferguson didn't win.
Exactly.
He won 2. Fine.
Well,
it's fine. But you think this is the thing Guardiola always says when people are going through him in the press conferences a bit, he's like, look, sorry, the exception is winning 4 in a row. The exception is winning 6 out of 7.
He's right, isn't he? I mean, Pep's right anyway, with regards to the fact is 6 out of 7, 4 in a row. Of course he isn't ruining his legacy. You almost... I don't know what he can do. Yeah, it's untouchable.
Yeah, his legacy is untouchable. For me, he will go down regardless of what happens from here on out. He could finish 10th with Man City for the next decade. He will still be the second best manager that the Premier League's ever had. For a lot of people, certainly people younger than me, they seem to really favour Pep Guardiola. Yeah. They would suggest Guardiola is the best.
Yeah, and they make a good argument, by the way.
You can make a good argument.
No, it's not true, but it's a good argument. Can he reinvent the wheel a bit here? Like how many times?
Man City 4.0.
Yeah.
Yes, he can. Yes, I believe he can. The problem that he has, I think, is that the players aren't out there. I'm talking about like the players in the world. You know, to play his system, you have to be so good.
Of course they're out there.
No, I genuinely mean this, right? If you think about when they were at their best, they were at their best because they were able to buy some sublime footballers, the likes of Riyad Mahrez. I just don't think those players are out. Like, he bought Riyad Mahrez then. He's trying to now do with Savinho what he did with Riyad Mahrez, and it's not working.
He's trying to
of course it's not working.
He's trying to do the Doku thing with Sterling.
He's trying to do Doku with Sterling or Sane.
Yeah.
He's trying to do the Doku thing.
Not quite the same, is it?
He's trying to do the Sane thing with Doku. It doesn't work. He's trying to...
Even chirking Kevin De Bruyne, it's just not the same.
No, of course it's not. Reinders is obviously not as good as Gundogan.
Yeah.
Kovacic, when
it was certainly not Rodri or Fernandinho.
Exactly. This is why I just don't think it's working. But no, you're a far better team if you have goals galore in the side. Look, I like the idea of a focal point. I like the idea of having an obvious goal scorer. But if you think of like the most threatening teams over the course of history, the reason why they're so threatening is because they've probably got one fellow that will score 20, but then they might have half a dozen that will score 10. And like when you have just one, it's not always a good thing. Like Manchester United, when they had Van Nistelrooy, the goals around the team dried up a little bit. You know, Van Nistelrooy scored loads, but Giggs wasn't weighing in with as many, and Scholes wasn't weighing in with as many. You're actually a far better outfit when you can have
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a centre forward who scores 20 the way Drogba did, but then you've got Michael Essien weighing in with goals. You've got Michael Ballack weighing in with goals. You've got Frank Lampard weighing in with goals. You've got Arjen Robben, Damien Duff, Joe Cole, all weighing in with goals. And you'd extend that to City when they were great. Like City are the only team, and I know they play by their own rules, but City are the only Premier League team to have ever won a league without a centre forward.
Crazy, yeah.
But look, let's focus on this title race. Are Man City capable? Is Pep Guardiola capable? Of course he is. Are Arsenal capable of not necessarily bottling it? I don't like that terminology, and I don't think it tells a story at all. No, I've used it because it's kind of the everyday parlance, isn't it? It's what people use to describe what Arsenal have done over the years. And I don't think it tells a story. But what could happen? We don't know how this Arsenal team will cope leading the charge. Like, you know, if they can hear the hooves, it could change.
Don't think it will.
Like, you know, when you think about the terror, think about the terror that Arsenal will feel if Manchester City are 3 points behind them and playing first on a weekend. So all the pressure will be on Arsenal. Yeah. Think of the terror. It will be like that Alfred Hitchcock film. You know, it will be like the
Where
Psycho.
You can hear the creak in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be terrified, right? Yeah, it'd be terrible. It'd be like that scene in Jurassic Park, you know, when the water's shaking. If you're playing, if Manchester City are
1-0 goal. 1-0 goal. Ipswich have scored.
If Manchester
Davis. Leif Davis has scored. Sorry to cut across you. It's a great goal. Sorry, you can listen to that game over on talkSPORT too.
If Manchester City...
How many analogies you're going to use? You used one already.
I'll tell you what, mate.
I listened to the Alfred Hitchcock one, mate, and I was sold. You didn't need to tell me anymore.
What, you didn't like the Jurassic Park?
No, right, no.
Mate, I'll tell you what. Adrian Durham is safe in his job, isn't he? You're not exactly Adrian Durham with this. Building the suspense before we reveal who's scored in the massive clash at Oxford.
Says the man who spoke about Alfred Hitchcock trying to describe a football match. Can we just...
Adrian Durham, if he's listening to this, he is very safe in his position as radio's
and Alfred Hitchcock's director friend is okay
talkSPORT's number one is safe in his job. Ade Oladipo.
I'll happily be number two to Adrian Durham. All right, go on, scoreline prediction. Man City leads.
I think Manchester City will win. I think they'll win convincingly. They'll win 3-0. You?
Leeds have struggled as well, by the way. All of a sudden, everyone's like...
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
No, but we all thought Leeds would be okay and survive. I doubt that now. 2-0 Leeds. Aston Villa versus Wolves. We've not spoke since Rob Edwards.
2-0 Leeds?
2-0 Man City.
Oh, 2-0 Man City.
Did I say
definitely said 2-0 Leeds, yeah.
Did I?
Are you all right?
Man City.
What's going on with you?
Leeds 0. Aston Villa versus Wolves.
Aston Villa versus Wolves. I think Villa are going to absolutely batter them.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a rivalry, isn't it?
A little bit. Midlands. We've not spoken since Rob Edwards left Middlesbrough. I think both of us were very... strong words, Rory.
Is it?
You can't just say he made the wrong decision. But Judas is a bit strong.
You can say strong words. I've got no issue with strong words. Are they incorrect words? It's only a problem if they're incorrect. Well...
He's just left the job to go to another job.
So
he's just left. So he's left Middlesbrough to go to a team that he clearly has his heartstrings being pulled at, and that's what he's done.
Listen, if you say they're strong, that's absolutely fine. If you say they're incorrect, that's a problem. Are they incorrect? Me suggesting that Rob Edwards.
They're strong.
They're strong. Rob Edwards should change his surname from Rob Edwards to Rob Iscaria. Is that incorrect? No.
Strong.
It's completely correct. It's strong, but it's correct.
Yeah. Do you think he can do anything this season?
No. I'm buzzing for him to get relegated, and I am also buzzing for Middlesbrough to come up and wave goodbye to him. It's a shame because I quite like Wolves. I like Wolves. I like Molineux. I like the history of the club. But I now have to want them to go down.
Okay, scoreline prediction. Villa, Wolves.
Villa. Is it a rival? How much of a rivalry is it? Black Country versus Birmingham. Is it? Well, whatever.
No.
I think it will be quite intense, but ultimately a 3-0 win for Unai Emery's side.
Nottingham Forest versus Brighton. Obviously, Nottingham Forest coming off. They've done okay under Sean Dyche. He seems to have got them defensively better, and they're scoring goals as well. Well, they scored 3 at Anfield.
I mean, they immediately don't go down. They immediately aren't. They're not being relegated, which is why it was a good appointment.
They'll be fine. They'll be okay, won't they?
There is no jeopardy around their place in the league, and they are a really good side. So it's not surprising. You know, like if you look at their squad on paper, they have very, very good players at the club, and I think they'll beat Brighton. I think they're exactly the kind of side that Brighton don't want to play against.
Brighton, by the way, 6th in the Premier League. Brighton and no scrubs at all. Like no scrubs, Brighton.
But everything that
very good side.
Everything that Forest are, particularly under Dyche, is not what Brighton are about. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be intense.
You don't think Brighton like the fight?
I think what Brighton would rather is have an expansive game of football. Whereas Sean Dyche won't allow for that. And I think it will be low scoring, maybe even a 1-0, but Forest will come out on top. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Brighton will get a point here. I can almost see a draw, and I actually think both would almost accept a draw in this game. On Forest, very quickly, you know, he was talking about sort of Man City and the players that they're trying to sign and those players not being around. You know, there's a lot of talk about Elliot Anderson.
Great player.
Going to City. Ready for City?
Yeah.
You think so? You think?
I think so. I think he's an excellent player, and if you look at the way that he's doing it for England, if you look at the huge validation that's been given to him by Thomas Tuchel, like it's getting to the stage now where when you think about the way that Thomas Tuchel will select an England side, Elliot Anderson is far more likely to be in than Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
Elliot Anderson is not. I'm not saying his first name on the team sheet.
No, you're right.
But he's in the first 11. There's no doubt he's in the first 11. So yeah, if you're ready to play for Thomas Tuchel's England, at a World Cup. I think you're ready to play for Man City, aren't you?
And you know, for
exactly
me,
what City need as well.
Yeah, and for me, watching him against Liverpool and that midfield, and look, I know the midfield's all over the place at the moment, but the fact is it's still going to be him against Gravenberch, it's still going to be him against McAllister, and Curtis Jones, who you like, destroyed him. By the way, destroyed him. Rang rings around that midfield.
He's
at Anfield.
He's a manager's dream, isn't he? You know the way he plays football. He does exactly what a manager would want. You know, in the way when Mason Mount was good at football, Mason Mount became like a manager's dream. Every manager picked him.
That's a good example.
Lampard used to pick him. Southgate used to pick him. When Tuchel came in, Tuchel used to pick him. The managers loved him. I feel like Elliot Anderson is that. I think he's just a very good player, perfect for a team, will do anything that his manager asks of him. And yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly what Man City needs. You know, they went glamorous, didn't they? They always go Reinders and whatever. I think the answer could be, closer to home.
So, an example of players leaving, obviously, look, he wouldn't have wanted to leave Newcastle, going, you know, a couple of levels down. I think that's fair to say in Forest, and now look at him. Could be on his way to Man City. All right, there you go. Still 3 more Premier League games to preview on Thank Footballers Friday.
But the home form versus away form, there's a massive problem, and that's something that Eddie Howe needs to sort out.
Brentford 3, Newcastle 1. West Ham 3, Newcastle 1.
I think some of the games have certainly looks a fatigue about Newcastle as well. You know, a lack of real energy.
We are looking for that consistency in performance. We're looking at that feeling you have when you know you're going to perform. It's not in doubt, and we've had that for a long, long time. This is probably the first time since I've been here where there's that element where you're hoping we perform and we bring everything together.
Good evening, thank footballers. Friday, Ade Oladipo alongside Mr. Rory Jennings. A couple of big games left to speak about. Everton, who have done well under David Moyes, hasn't he? And you said, look at you. Earlier you said, don't go back. Moyes has gone back and he's doing well. Wasn't you saying, don't go back about Jurgen Klopp? Moyes has gone back and all of a sudden Everton are playing really good football. Everyone seems to be galvanised. New stadium, but Jurgen Klopp shouldn't go back.
There's always an anomaly, but generally speaking, don't go back with your ex-girlfriend. I'm serious. I've made that mistake many times. Don't go back.
What if it's the ex-girlfriend that leaves you? That's what happened, right? Klopp left us. But look, Everton coming off a really good win at Old Trafford. And as you said a bit earlier, it was one-way traffic. You wouldn't know who had 10 men. Like Everton played fantastically well. They welcome a Newcastle side to their new stadium. Newcastle away from home still can't find it right, can they, Newcastle?
Also, they've had a really tough trip to Marseille. A really tough trip. The fans have been through a lot.
Well, they should have won.
Yeah.
Should have won. Fans have been for a lot.
But ultimately, Newcastle off the back of Europe. You know, earlier when we were talking about how perilous it can be trying to marry up European football with your domestic campaign. When you've been to Marseille midweek, the last place in the world you want to go is your first visit to the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Like it's an absolute nightmare. Everton away off the back of Marseille away. I mean, I can't really think of a harder set of games. It's so tricky. And just for that reason, I mean, Newcastle are a little bit all over the place. Everton are obviously on a decent run and will be inspired by that result of Manchester United. But I can't see anything other than an Everton win here, can you?
No. Yeah, and the issue for Newcastle is, again, we talk about that away form, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a mental hurdle they need to get over. I don't know what Eddie Howe needs to do. Newcastle 14th in the league, you know.
Right.
When you watch Newcastle, Liverpool look like a team that's bottom half of the table. Newcastle don't.
No.
But I don't see the easy fix that to almost resolve that. Maybe getting Visser fit and back, maybe. I mean, we haven't really seen him. Have we seen him at all for Newcastle?
No. It's
we're in his train first time this week. Maybe that takes a bit of pressure off the guys up front. Something, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to put your finger on where it went so wrong. I mean, everybody focuses on Isak.
Remember last season, that midfield? And you're like, that midfield cannot be broken down. That Joe Linton, Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes. You feel, okay, that's even started to wobble.
Yeah, but I think it started to wobble because everything else has been tough. But the reason that it's gone so wrong, and this is why you've got to feel for Eddie Howe. I think Eddie Howe's an excellent manager. The reason you've got to feel for him is it went wrong for them in the summer. It went wrong for them with their ridiculous transfer activity. It went wrong for them. Like, how many players did they miss out on?
Yeah.
And then obviously they tried to keep Isak. They did their best to keep Isak. And then ultimately they let him go for the same price that they could have sold him for a month earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nowhere that didn't affect their pre-season.
Of course.
That was
such a
massive,
distraction.
wasn't it? Yeah.
No, Alexander Isak, you know, when you try and analyse why it's gone wrong for Newcastle United, it's very rare that one player can be responsible for it going wrong for two clubs. But Alexander Isak is sort of responsible for the perils of Newcastle and responsible for the perils of Liverpool. Both partly, obviously, but he has some responsibility to take for both of those clubs' issues.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very difficult for Newcastle because what they're trying to do, what they're trying to build, and they are trying to establish themselves, aren't they, as a Champions League club, club with ambition. Now, ultimately, it just becomes an anomaly if you're in it, out of it, and they're 14th in the league. They're not going to make it into the Champions League spots this year.
Yeah. You know who's not done much as well? Like, again, if you were to watch the highlights, you'd think he's actually achieved well. Elanga.
No, terrible.
Elanga's been awful.
No, the transfer window is where it's gone so wrong for Newcastle United. I felt that it was a window that lacked ambition. They'd won silverware. They'd won silverware for the first time in 70 years. They'd made it into the Champions League. They couldn't have asked for more. They had arguably the best midfield in the league. They had arguably the best centre forward in the league. It felt like what the transfer window should have been, and I know that they had constraints. But the PIF could have potentially been a little bit more ambitious in the way that Chelsea have spent money that they shouldn't necessarily have spent.
Yeah, almost just bullied them.
You work a system.
Yeah.
Whereas Newcastle basically Newcastle didn't sell themselves a hotel. They didn't sell themselves a ladies' team. They basically just accepted that they couldn't spend any money. I don't necessarily...
So basically, you're punishing Newcastle for sticking to the rules.
I'm not suggesting that they break the rules. I'm suggesting that they
with them.
No, I'm suggesting that they work a system that allows them to spend more money within the framework of the rules in the way that Chelsea did.
Yeah. All right, go on. Everton, Newcastle. What are you thinking?
Everton will win the game.
Yeah.
Everton will win. I think it'll be a very tight game, but I think...
Agreed.
I think it'll win the game.
Sunderland versus Bournemouth is a very interesting game, isn't it? Sunderland have probably done the best. Well, they have done the best of the teams that have been promoted. Bournemouth are always steady under Areola. How do you think that plays out?
I mean, Bournemouth are just an excellent side, aren't they? Like they're almost. It almost shocks me quite how good they are.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when we're talking there about how detrimental the summer was for Newcastle United and how detrimental the summer ultimately proved for Liverpool. Think about the summer that they had. They had that great back line and they sold players. You look at the clubs that the players that they let go to. They lose 4 out of 5 of their back 5. Kepa Arrizabalaga goes to Arsenal.
Still the strangest one out of all of them.
I know, but he's a player from Bournemouth who's gone to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal, one of the best teams in the country.
They've gone to sit on the bench. We'll never play a minute of football.
Howson has gone to Real Madrid.
That's crazy.
Another player's gone to Liverpool. Another player's gone to Paris Saint-Germain. It's just unbelievable.
It's crazy. And actually, it's crazy. Let's hear from a man that did stay. Bournemouth captain Adam Smith says despite Antoine Semenya's recent form, the club's star man has his feet firmly on the ground.
He's the most humble lad I've met in football, to be honest. One of the nicest guys. No matter how well he's done, he's always stayed the same. But that's down to us as a group as well,
Yeah.
And when new players come in, we settle them in well. We're all humble guys. We all work hard. We all want to improve. So I think that is down to our squad. And yeah, looking after these young players and helping them along their way, and because we do buy a lot of young players, we need to give them experience and let them know how we train. So there's not a bad person in the squad.
You can hear more from Bournemouth captain Adam Smith on tomorrow's Weekend Sports Breakfast with Shabana Hearn and Tony Cascarino. That's live from the Newbury Racecourse from 6 a.m. All right, let's go on scoreline prediction. When you do that, Sunderland, Bournemouth.
I think it's got a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Sounds about right, doesn't it? Brentford versus Burnley. We got it wrong, didn't we? Or did we? Still early.
I would really like Burnley to survive. I like Scott Parker. I rate him. I like the club. I like Turf Moor. If they are to survive, this is the kind of route.
Burnley a massive club to you?
They're a prestigious club.
No, massive club, because you always seem to poo-poo on the smaller clubs. A Burnley big club.
They're a prestigious club.
That's not what I asked. Are they a big club?
The clubs that I like are prestigious. It's not only big, it's prestigious. And Burnley are a prestigious
Are they
club.
prestigious?
Turf Moor, they've got good history. There's a lot to like about Burnley. Lots to like.
Okay.
Good history.
I know you don't like Brentford, so who wins this game?
Burnley. Burnley win this. Burnley go to the G-Tech and batter them.
All right, we didn't get a scoreline prediction from the game at London Stadium, West Ham versus Liverpool.
3-0 West Ham.
Go on,
seriously.
Go on.
I think West Ham win the game, mate. I genuinely think West Ham win the game.
Wow.
Could be tight. 2-1 West Ham. I think they'll beat you. I think this is the perfect opposition. I think Nuno Espirito Santo is a clever man.
Yeah, he's smart, isn't he?
And this is a great time for him to be facing this Liverpool side. Also, it's getting to the stage.
Is it, though?
Yeah, it is. It is now. Well, it's getting to the stage, Ade, where anyone that Liverpool are facing will beat them. It's not about Liverpool anymore. It's not about who the opposition are. It just feels like you're so beatable.
No, we're not 18th in the league. I mean, calm down.
Only because you got those first 5 wins. You would be. You would be if this form had continued. And you will be if this form continues for another 10 games.
You think Wolves will do us?
Yeah. I do. Why wouldn't I think that? Everything
so they've not won a game of football.
Yeah. They need to play you. They're looking forward to their fixture. It will kickstart their season.
All right, so West Ham to beat Liverpool, 2-1.
West Ham beat Liverpool easy.
Yeah, okay. Liverpool will win. Come on, Liverpool will win that one. The job Nuno's doing.
Good manager.
Yeah. kind of steadied the ship a little bit, hasn't he?
Well, they won't go down.
Yeah, that's
they won't go
that's all
down.
that you can ask for.
Certain clubs, they just need to make those appointments that will keep their team in the league. Sean Dyche is an appointment that you just don't go down.
Yeah, Nuno's the same.
Nuno, Espirito Santo, you don't go down.
All right, there you go. TalkSport, along with TalkSport 2 and the TalkSport app, have exclusive national radio commentary of all 10 Premier League games on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday next week, including Newcastle versus Tottenham, Liverpool in that must-win game against Sunderland, Arsenal versus Brentford, and Manchester United versus West Ham. The best place to follow all the games is by downloading the TalkSport app and clicking the live game you want to hear. All right, up next, we're going to be discussing the Championship this weekend.
Step up to the Oki and win on talkSPORT.
Good evening, Thank Football. It's Friday. Ade Oladipo, Rory Jennings. By the way, it's been another goal in the game between Oxford and Ipswich. Does that sound better for you, Mr. Jennings?
You're terrible at this.
And it's 2-1 to Oxford. Maybe you can listen to the game right now over on TalkSport 2. All right, we're closing in on the TalkSport Darts Presenter Trophy 2025. Now in its third year, where 8 of the TalkSport biggest names go head-to-head ahead of the PDC World Darts Championship kickoff. And this year, you and a mate could be right there with us.
That's right. You'll be the only members of the public allowed in on Wednesday, the 10th of December in London. 2 seats, 2 insider passes, a true money-can't-buy experience for the ultimate TalkSport fan. The very next day, you'll also be heading to the opening day at the PDC World Darts Championship. Plus, we'll sort out 2 nights in a hotel and a massive 2.5 bags of sand in cash. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338.
Text us £2 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 03434239761. Lines close 4 p.m. next Thursday. That's 4 p.m. next Thursday. That's when you're going to need to answer your phone. If it rings, 18 plus UK, excluding Northern Ireland. So for your chance to win, just text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 83338 right now. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. All right, let's do our EFL preview as we do every single Friday. Let's welcome in Ryan Dilks from the Second Tier podcast. Ryan, straight away, let's focus on this game currently over on TalkSport 2. They're showing Kieran McKenna in the stands. Oof, it's not being good for him. 2-1 Oxford. How big a blow is this for Ipswich? You know, we're starting to put a run of games together, 5th in the Championship at the moment. This is unexpected. I know they were away at Oxford, but it's still unexpected, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Ipswich were just looking like they were starting to get to grips with things. They were on a 7-game unbeaten run. And while they weren't playing amazingly during that time, they were looking like they may be becoming the side that I think many expected them to be at the start of the season. Heading into this game, they did have a game in hand. And if they did get 3 points from that game in hand, they would have been second. So that kind of gives you an idea of where they've been. But yeah, I didn't expect this result to come along because Oxford are not the greatest of sides. They've really struggled this season. So this will be a huge scalp for them, particularly, as I say, because Ipswich have been really picking up some steam recently.
Ryan, we have to talk about Super Frank Lampard.
Oh, here we go.
Of course we do.
Very predictable.
Breaking record after record.
Lads. Come on.
Breaking record after record. Coventry are looking like a serious force. They had a massive win against Middlesbrough the other day. Frank Lampard's a genius, isn't he?
Well, the way things are going, it's getting harder and harder to dispute that, I guess, really, isn't it? Look, 10-point gap now at the top of the division, which is the biggest gap ever at this stage in Championship history, which is some going, really, isn't it? But yeah, you're looking at it now and you're like, how can Coventry possibly mess this up? Because they are so far ahead and there aren't a whole host of serious candidates. I mean, Ipswich were probably the most likely one, and now they're flipping losing away at Oxford. So, yeah, Coventry, they just keep scoring goals. They have looked a bit vulnerable at the back recently, but it doesn't really matter because they just score goals for fun. They've scored the most goals ever at this stage of a Championship season as well, with 47. I mean, I can't do the maths off the top of my head, but how many goals is that they're averaging on target to score this season? It's just ridiculous, isn't it? And it doesn't really matter whether they're, not necessarily playing as well as they have been earlier in the season because they keep winning games. And now they've won 11 in 12, could be 12 in 13 this coming weekend because they're facing Charlton, who have looked really poor in their last couple of games. So yeah, Coventry, they could have a 13-point lead at the end of this weekend, which would just be insane, wouldn't it?
It is incredible what he's done, though. And I guess, look, we saw glimpses of it at the back end of last season. But now, full pre-season, obviously he's got the players in that he wanted to get as well. They look incredible right now, Coventry. Sheffield United moved out of the Championship relegation zone, 3-0 win over 10-man Portsmouth. Patrick Bamford, remember him? Scored on his full debut. He's not scored a goal for 19 months, which is incredible for any striker, to be honest with you, especially a striker of his class, because we know when he's fit, I mean, there's such a good player in there, technically. But happy for him and happy for Sheffield United as well, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Bamford he's looked really sharp in these first 2 games. We've got to remember, at one point, he did play for England, didn't he, 4 years ago? And he did have one season with Leeds where he scored a load of goals in the Premier League. So we know the players in there. In the tail end of his Leeds career, his form definitely did drop off, and you're wondering where his next step was going to be next after he left Leeds. But I tell you what, he has been fantastic in these 2 games so far for Sheffield United. Yes, the 2 games that they've had were against the Wednesday side, albeit the Still City derby, but Wednesday were really poor on Sunday, and Portsmouth were down to 10 meant more than half the game in midweek. But Sheffield United, another side who looked like they may have finally turned a corner, because people perhaps don't realise that since Chris Wilder's come back, Sheffield United haven't been much better. This has only been the second time they've come out of the bottom three this season. So maybe they are starting to get a head of steam together. I won't put all my, I won't count all my chickens just yet, because, as I say, the last two games were against two sides who were pretty poor, but it looks like they're starting to get a bit of confidence. And if Paddy Bamford is starting to score the goals for fun, then that's all what we like to see as well, isn't it?
Ryan, we saw QPR turn Blackburn Rovers over. Why do you think Blackburn Rovers are performing so poorly at home, despite good form away from home?
Oh, I mean, that's been a question for a number of years, really. They were all right at home last season, but they have been particularly poor this season. I suppose one thing that doesn't help, Rory, is Blackburn's attendances have been shocking now for years. We all think of Blackburn as a massive club, right? But whenever you look at the stats for the percentage of the stadium that's filled, Blackburn are always near the bottom. They're always averaging about 15,000 a week, which is
what's
strange
their capacity?
30 odd, I think.
Wow.
It's around that ballpark, but that just goes to show that it can be a bit of a depressing atmosphere at times at Blackburn when they're not getting the results and the stadium's half empty. But as I say, it's strange when you think of Blackburn as such a massive club, but the attendances are so low. But I think this is coming from a place where the fans are pretty disillusioned with the ownership, because the Venky's, who are surprisingly still in charge, haven't shown much ambition over recent years, and they don't look like a club who are particularly going anywhere anytime soon. They have been in decent form recently, but there's not exactly much. If I was a Blackburn fan, I mean, I'd be going every week if I was a Blackburn fan, but if you're kind of a casual Blackburn fan, there's not much to really entice you to go into Ewood Park every single week. So that's probably one reason, but Blackburn at the same time are a side who are definitely in danger this season despite recent form.
It's crazy. Imagine seeing Blackburn in League One. And it's crazy. Look at the table, though, and I mean, they are close to that bottom three. Ryan, you're a Derby fan, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, we wasn't talking like this last season, was he? You must be excited about your recent run of form. Obviously, look, it's a tough game. It's a big game against Middlesbrough. But are you now really thinking about a play of pace, Sorry, considering how well you've done recently?
Absolutely, yeah. 6 wins in 7. I did not see this run of form coming.
No one did.
Too long ago.
No one did.
And to be honest, I don't think we've played particularly well in that time. We have been a bit fortunate on occasion. We haven't been dominating games by any means. We have had a massive blow with Carlton Morris, the division's top goal scorer, having a really bad injury, which is going to keep him out until at least February. So that's not ideal. We have got alternatives who could fill in for him. And it's a big old ask filling in for the division's top goal scorer. But John Eustace, fantastic manager. You look at the jobs he did at Birmingham and Blackburn before, he didn't have the biggest budgets there, yet had them competing around the playoffs, and now he's got some more backing at Derby. So I don't see why we can't go one step further this season and get into the playoffs. The other thing to keep in mind is we are facing Middlesbrough this weekend, and we have a honking record up on Teesside. I think Derby have won just one of their last 16 visits to the Riverside Stadium. So if we were to get something tomorrow, then maybe it is our season. But yeah, I'm not too hopeful about this weekend, but still, the recent form is definitely giving Derby fans a lot to believe in.
Final one, Ryan. Just looking at the table, and normally when the teams get relegated from the Premier League, obviously they've got the resources and the players to kind of bounce back straight up. Obviously, look, Ipswich are making a good fist of it, and I do think they'll come straight back up. But Southampton 13th and Leicester 15th. I mean, should we be surprised? Are you surprised just as to how bad both of those teams have done since dropping down?
I think I am when you keep in mind how well relegated sides have done in recent seasons, because it's been a very common theme that the teams who come straight down from the Premier League always do very well in the Championship the following season. Now, Southampton look like they're picking up 4 wins on the bounce under Tonda Records, the youngest manager in Championship history, 32 years old, which is worrying considering I'm nearly at that age now where managers are the same age as me, but never mind. But yeah, he's doing fantastically well, and Southampton look like they are starting to pick up. Leicester, Yeah. I mean, I wasn't full of hope for Leicester at the start of the season anyway, because I think they're a club with a lot of problems. And keep in mind, they've got a points deduction potentially on the way soon as well. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about Leicester because under Marty Cifuentes, the old QPR manager, they have looked pretty poor. They're very negative when they've got a pretty talented side still, but they don't seem to be having much luck at all right now. So I would be slightly cautious with Leicester and maybe even possibly talking about a relegation battle, but I won't get too carried away with that so far because there's still a long way to go. But Southampton and Ipswich, I would expect to be in the top 6 race, but definitely underperforming compared to how many people would have expected them to at the start of the season.
Ryan, top man, as always, thank you very much. Ryan Dilks, host of the Second Tier podcast. A long way to go in the Championship. Not long to go in the game between Oxford and Ipswich. Just a couple of minutes left to go of normal time. Remember, Oxford still leading that game 2-1. You can listen to it right now over on talkSPORT 2. All right, next we're going to look ahead to the World Cup draw, which takes place next week. Good evening, Thank Football. It's Friday. Ade Oladipo alongside Rory Jennings. This Sunday from 9 p.m, talkSPORT's cricket editor John Norman and former England fast bowler Darren Gough will host a preview show for the second Ashes Test, which begins on Thursday. Whilst tomorrow night, Ben Whittaker makes his Matchroom debut against Benjamin Gavazzi for the WBC Silver Light light heavyweight title in a world title eliminator. Maybe you can watch that live tomorrow only on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Oh, Mr. Rory Jennings, we're going to talk about Ben Whittaker. And you were going to ask me a couple of questions. You're going to say, how good do you think he is and all that good stuff? And I was going to say he's amazing.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. How good is Ben Whittaker?
No, he's good. He's good. Ultimately, look, he's in a division which is currently run by a guy called Dimitri Bivol and another guy that you might have seen over the weekend called David Benavidez, who beat Anthony Yarde quite convincingly. So in terms of the very, very top, that's going to take him some while. But domestically, there's some good fights that he can have. And obviously, if he comes through Benjamin Gavazzi, which Eddie Hearn and all the rest will be hoping he does with flying colours, then there is an Anthony Yarde fight potentially. There is a Joshua Buatsi that could be made in the next sort of 12 to 18 months. Dan Azeez, Craig Richards. I guess what I'm getting at is that there are so many good domestic fights that they can build him very, very quickly.
Right.
And that's what everyone
But it's essential that he wins this fight.
It's essential that he win. No, it's beyond that now. It's not just for me. It's not just a case of him has to win, which he should, right? I mean, they're not going to put him in there with a killer in his first fight. He's got to look spectacular.
Right. He's got that in him, though, hasn't he? He's got that showman ability.
I love that. You know, some people hate that. There's this thing, like I grew up on Prince Nassim Hamid.
Yeah, I love
jumping over the ropes, and Chris Eubank Sr. doing all sorts of madness.
People got annoyed with Ben Whittaker. He did a sort of backhand jab,
Did a backhand,
people didn't like.
People hated it. I mean, the purists despised it. It's okay to do that if you then win and look good. If you struggle and start doing that showboat and stuff, I think that's when people get on top of you. But I think that he has all the capabilities. He's got a massive social media following, which is only bigger.
Born out of that kind of thing.
Born out of that stuff. And only AJ and Fury, in terms of boxers in this country, I mean, it's way bigger than Eubank and Ben and all that.
Really?
So he's got the following. He's got the looks. He's got the appeal.
And now he's got Matchroom.
And he's got Matchroom and Eddie Hearn.
Do you think that makes a big difference? Like, this is his Matchroom debut.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is really why?
I think it does, because what Eddie does better than any promoter in the world right now is Eddie will make it seem as though Ben Whittaker's the second coming of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, he's
and
sensational.
it will sell you on that. Yeah, and I think he'll do that. So, let's see. Again, live only on DAZN tomorrow evening. All right, for a week from Monday, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent are going to bring you 5 live shows on Drive from across the USA to get the party started ahead of the greatest show on earth next summer. Goldstein and Benty start their journey in New York City before ending up in Washington, D.C. on the 5th to find out who the home nations will face at the World Cup in June. The draw itself will take place from 5 p.m. next Friday, and the GOAT Adrian Durham will be taking you through it alongside former England captain Stuart Pearce and European football expert Andy Brassel. By the way, on this draw, and I only just found this out today, so I'm not going to pretend I knew about it already, the top 4 seeded countries will not be able to meet each other until the semi-finals of next year's World Cup. That's the first time that's ever happened in a tournament's history, and I think that's a disgrace.
There's so much going on.
I mean, this Ronaldo thing's a disgrace.
The Ronaldo thing is actually blowing my mind. Do you know what I heard? And I had to really do my best to not reply. You know on social media where you actually type out a reply and then you just go, okay, what am I doing? Yeah. What? Gwyneth Ballagay.
I was going to respond to him.
So was I.
I was going to respond.
So was I.
Yeah.
Like,
I see that show was with Julian Laurent.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Like, because of what he's done.
He's never been sent off before.
Yeah.
Like, some things are bigger than football. Like, what are you on about? Cristiano Ronaldo is nothing other than a footballer going to a World Cup. And do you know what needs to happen? Moises Caicedo is banned for the first game of the World Cup. Moises Caicedo needs to not be banned.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Cristiano Ronaldo starts, I want the opposition to walk off the pitch.
Something like that. It needs to happen, and it's something big. Of those 4 seeded teams, by the way, these are the first 4 seeds. So Spain are number 1, Argentina number 2, France are number 3, and England are number 4. So again, those teams can't meet until the semi-finals. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, as an England fan, it's a good thing, right? You don't want England to meet, I guess, Argentina or any of those clubs, but that's just not how it works.
That's not how it works. Fair and just, is it?
No.
That's not how. Like, what are we going to do then in the FA Cup? In the FA Cup, let's make sure that Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, and Man City don't play each other. It's just ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous what's going on, and it just feels like everything is just being ushered to try and make sure that we end up with a France-Brazil final, a France-England final, whatever the powers that be want.
Yeah. Have you got the pots in front of you? I'm trying to look at what could be the nightmare for England here.
So England's nightmare group will go something along the lines of
Uruguay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking South America. No, I'm just thinking South America.
Uruguay, Norway. Is that right?
Yeah.
Uruguay, Norway, Ghana.
Norway. Potentially, yeah.
That would be tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Colombia wouldn't be easy. Colombia, Norway are definitely the hardest from that group. I mean, Scotland. I'm not saying. Oh no, we'd batter Scotland, wouldn't we? I was going to say Scotland because of whatever, but then ultimately we'll probably just put 6 points.
By the way, I mean Italy. Potentially, obviously, they've got to play Northern Ireland and then the winners of Wales versus.
So would they go pot 4?
Italy could go pot 4.
Yeah, well, that would be.
It
would be Norway, Italy, Uruguay, and we're out. And we're out. Do you remember when we had Uruguay, didn't we, in 2014, when we reached a new low of English football, when we didn't even have to bother playing our third game in a group because of Roy Hodgson's inability. We were out after playing our second game. We lost to Uruguay, Suarez.
Ultimately, and maybe I'm going to sound a bit like I don't know, a bit of a moany person here. England ain't winning it anyway, are they? So it doesn't really matter.
We've got as good a chance as any
chance. We've got good of a chance as Argentina or Spain.
Player for player and manager should mean that we're serious contenders. I totally agree, and I always talk about history meaning something.
Yeah.
The history suggests that we have no chance.
Yeah, we ain't got no chance. Rory Jennings, it's been fabulous.
Ade Oladipo, it's been
great.
Fabulous.
Thank you very much. All right, up next it is Sports Bar Weekend at Adam Cattrall and Carlton Cole.